look good. I always look good. Who am I kidding? Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle
and your man.
I'm Jarrod D King, and I am joined again by my good friends. We've got Kevin, we've got Juan, we've got Alex, and we've got a great topic for y'all today. Is there such a thing as out of my league? That's the question that we have today. I just kind of want to just throw that out there and see where we go. I have some follow-up questions just in case, but I'll just
dive
go ahead.
So let me
get it started, Kevin.
Let me start with a base. I never ever see somebody as truly out of my league. I more think of it as, I don't know, I feel like I'm a good people reader. So, you know, if you're living this like lavish luxury, like you feel like you need to post, you're into the clothes and you're going this, and all you talk about is like where you travel to and all that. You know, those are personality traits sort of, and they're not always interesting. Like, you know, if you're not, again, sharing those same experiences, it's not that you're out of my league. It's just that you live your life very differently. Okay. So I don't want to be bothered with you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Kind of hit close to home. A little close to home. I mean, because I do like a little fashion post once in a while. But no, I get what you're saying though. It's like, you don't think, I mean, like, you'll see somebody doing that, and where people would usually look at, like, you know, one of those super popular Instagrammers, and be like, well, they would never pay me any kind of attention. You're more like, you're just okay, I'm not really into that, but whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, you're into content creation. Awesome.
Okay, buddy.
I wonder who does that speak to.
I didn't even mean it like that. As it was leaving my mouth, I was like, oh shit. No, but I meant more along the lines of, like, you know, if you're like an Instagrammer and you need to post everything, you need to post every plate, you need to post at what's such a wonderful, like, you're on camera, you're having a great time, and then the camera turns off and it's like,
well, but I feel like that's a really good mention, because thinking of out of your league, I think, thinking about it, I wouldn't have even gone that direction. I think I would have thought much more of, like, how does that person look like in comparison to me? Like, do I feel as set up as that person is? Or like, financially, how are we in comparison, like, to our jobs? Is there a lot of difference in there? So I think there's a lot of different leagues that we might be comparing, or saying this might be out of my league or it isn't. And sometimes out of your league can also be out of your comfort zone, because you're too afraid to approach it.
I mean, I think that you might have hit the nail on the head with that piece of it for sure. Have you ever felt like somebody was out of your league?
So when I was younger, I say that again.
Yeah, how old are you? You're literally like twice like the youngest
26.
one at the table.
I am still very young. So again, don't get me wrong.
But younger, not like
exactly.
Yeah, you said the right thing. It's all right.
Growing up in Germany, close to Munich, I like didn't have necessarily a lot of option, because I like grew up on the countryside, very conservative. There's not a lot of gays around, so whenever, like, you know, all of them, and not necessarily all of them might be considered like someone for you. So you reach out to the bigger cities, you try and date there. Munich, in comparison to where I lived, a lot more expensive, a lot bigger, a lot more posh.
In
comparison to where I was living,
okay,
countryside.
Gotcha.
About an hour away.
Just to clarify, so you lived in the countryside and then you moved to Munich.
I just went there by train to date.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, so like distances in Germany were already like kind of broken down a little bit. I cannot just like take a 10-minute drive and be wherever I needed to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I had to drive a little further to actually fish all the fish in the pool.
Yeah.
And in Munich, I definitely had a lot of cases like me being or feeling unexperienced and meeting those guys that are very accomplished, studied, have their own jobs, have their own apartments. Meanwhile, I live at home with my mom. I don't pay rent. I still go to school or like in the middle of apprenticeship.
That's I have a friend actually who had a very, very similar experience to that, where he didn't even really feel comfortable like approaching people just because he was living back at home, like with his mother. And I mean, I sort of got that too. There was a time in my life that, you know, after college, I lived with my father and my stepmother, and I was working an entry-level job with a very low wage. And so it's not like I could ball out or do anything like that. And I couldn't bring anybody back. So it's like, how?
It's kind of like how do I measure up to anybody that I'm attracted to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I think that I've had those moments as well. I don't know. I don't know whether I've gotten past that. I won't say that I've necessarily. I might have gotten past that. You know what? I don't really care. Like if I saw like, you know, if I saw a celebrity, I would just be like, oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's not to say, like, I don't get starstruck.
I would say that I probably would have gotten starstruck when I was younger, but now, absolutely not. I mean,
because at the end of the day, you understand this just another human being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the mentality that I have when kind of approaching guys and stuff. Like, I think, he's been there every time I've approached hot guys. So, like, I approach hot guys all the time. They just don't pay me any. They just don't pay me any.
Goes right up. No
Jarrod.
He's on it. He's on it.
I mean, that's true. I mean, they will pay me some attention sometimes. I mean, but you got to try. I mean, the thing is like, and I feel.
Do you know how many times he's been stopped to tell like how nice his hair is or how they like his hair? I hate it. I told him the other day, I said, if I have to hear about your hair one more time,
I'm gonna kill it, bitch.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'll talk to anybody. You know, sometimes I'll get this snotty like attitude, like I don't really want to even engage with you. And
do you think that you generalize some people now if like, you know, they're wearing a really nice clothes and they just like they have that like snooty kind of nose in the air attitude, like they're better than people, like you're not even like, I could look at somebody like that and be like, I'm not even gonna waste my time.
I think I give that impression a lot.
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I like when I met you, I found you very accessible. I wouldn't
Back me up.
necessarily
I'm
call
sorry.
you
Go ahead.
that.
You would call me that?
No,
Okay,
I don't
good,
think either.
Good, because I feel like sometimes like I've had people tell me like, you know, I thought you might have been like a little bit of a bitch when I first met you.
When you and I met, you came up to me and you asked me what my phone number and like you want to hang out, and I never really found you inaccessible at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but y'all are different. Like,
we're the adventure crew.
I'm sorry. That was very snotty. It's like y'all on the level.
Yeah,
just hit different.
I was engaged to someone that was completely out of my league, and I think you've known.
But so this was gonna be my question too, is that even when you date somebody in like another socioeconomic level than you, do you think that really influences and shapes part of your relationship? And I would never ever want to be a part of that. Like, I don't ever want to have to feed somebody's ego because they're like, I hate when people buy me things because like I don't want to feel like I owe you something.
No, I don't think it was. I think at that point I was also very young, so I didn't really know what I wanted. and he was someone that was, you know, an extremely successful, you know, he was very, very high up in the company where he was, and I was a student. I was very young, and I was very passive and docile. So like I didn't really know how to find a balance, and I think that's what at the end broke the relationship. But he also made me feel that way in a lot of the time, in a lot of the ways, because I was not in the same level, and I was not in the maturity level to understand that our relationship goes beyond how much the other person's got, you know. And
Well, he didn't even want you to work, right, at one point. So
he didn't want me, like, he was like letting me choose, like he was choosing what I was wearing, and it was just I was very young, and I wanted to experience
playing the
but it was at
dominance
the
card.
he was, and people might think that he's very conflicted, but I do think that it taught me so much about what I want in my relationship. It almost feels like it shifted the way that I handle my relationships, because I tend to be very dominant in my relationships. But I think when you're young and when you're exposed to an environment like that of well, because he was a fairly wealthy man, I was at home, so it didn't seem the same, and he didn't make me feel like I was the same. Like, you could have all the money in the world, but if you really care for someone, you're still gonna find a space to make them feel comfortable and make them feel equal. And I think that's where the difference lies. Not much about what you wear, how you look like, but it's more of how you make the other person feel.
It's like J-Lo said, love don't cost a thing.
Pretty much. I think what plays a lot into it is also your level of maturity, because given like the fact that you're usually very insecure growing up, us growing up as gay men, trying to like find your spot in society anyways, like where do I belong, how do I belong, how can I be appreciated, all of these things that we're thinking about, and that continues just to stretch a little more whenever we meet people that are kind of like coming from a different spot. They've already gone through all these experiences that we are just about to have. So it's a very vulnerable spot in like trying to soak everything in and trying to understand your entire role in it. And I think that makes or breaks your future a lot of the times. Like if you had a really bad experiences in like the past, I feel you might be struggling a lot more in the future as well, because you're always going to be worried, oh shoot, like is this going to be a difficulty with us again? Like I've just went through this, I don't want to have the same experience that I had before. And you might immediately be like, okay, I'm not doing this again just because I had that experience.
Right.
Or if you hadn't, like you would be so much more open to anything.
Well, I do think that happens to me and you a lot, you know. I think that
it happened in the beginning, if anything, to me. Like I was having a bit of a struggle in like when I first came here, and I saw like so many people that we've met really, really accomplished on really, really young ages. And like I'm 26. I've done my apprenticeship until I was 22. I moved to Barcelona then without like knowing what I was going to work as, if my profession is going to work or not. Found the first job that I could and worked myself up from there. And I would say I'm like satisfied with what I do. I earn good for like in comparison to the rest of my peers. I'm in a really good position for my age. But nevertheless, like people here my age seem to be able to be a lot more successful than people are back in Europe.
That is just so interesting. I mean, it's just like the comparison, because everything that you said makes you sound very accomplished to me. So to hear that there's a little bit of comparisonitis, I guess would be the term. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not negating your experience at all, because I think your feelings are legitimate. But I think a lot of people would kind of look at you or feel or kind of hear your story or you know that you've lived in multiple countries in Europe. You've traveled to the US. How many languages do you speak?
4.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Going back to that, I don't necessarily think that people are more successful per se in the US than in Europe. I do think that the American culture has this way of, you want to flaunt what you got. You
Sure.
want to show your jewelry. You want to show whatever
it's
you
about
got.
status.
It's
It
about
is.
status. And in Europe, everything is more settled. People don't really care about labels. People are just living their lives. They have
Yeah.
good quality of life, but they don't waste their time on portraying an image that might elevate them
Right.
Yeah.
compared to here.
In most parts, at least, I would say. So,
Mhm.
like me
Yeah.
living in
Germany.
Barcelona, I would say is like the space where I say Barcelona, no one gives a damn about what you have or what you don't have. Like our groups are so extremely mixed from every salary range you could possibly imagine, and there's people that dress like in all designer clothes, and there's other people like me that a lot of times go to the secondhand shop or a thrift store and like find what they find. And it's really not really important there. Whereas here, like sometimes I did get the impression that people were vocalizing a little bit how they live, what they have, and it didn't even like. I mean, it's one thing me only seeing it, and it's the other hearing about it.
I mean, it's a big deal here for sure. I mean, the fact that we always ask like, what do you do, or like,
How much do you make?
Well, see, honestly, I really don't care what you do. Like, if you like, even if you're I don't care if you're a doctor. That doesn't make you any more of an interesting person. If anything, it's gonna make me have maybe a little bias that you're probably really boring. Probably a very big type A personality that needs to have things a specific way, and I don't have time for that. So
yeah.
I think it's, we focus on a lot of those things. We do a lot of, at least in American culture, we do a lot of peacocking, maybe not necessarily with clothes, but a lot of times with clothes, but just like in other things, like,
they'll be like, I'm
flashy cars, or
I made X amount in the
somewhere,
year. I flipped this many properties. I rent all this out, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, have you ever seen that? There's like a TikTok where a guy's like explaining his job title, and it's like, oh, I don't know. She just uses all these big business terms like, arbitrage and da 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 da, and he's really
Bitcoin
just
and trust funds,
and it's like he's really just like sitting at a desk or something. Like it's just like he uses
working in Excel like everybody else.
right. So there's a lot of just like, I don't know, one-upmanship, or just trying to show that you have it all together. And I think a lot of us very easily buy into what people kind of portray, and I think we have to push past that a little bit, because that's not like what you see on the outside is not the whole story.
Definitely not.
And I know with me, sometimes I get like I said, I get some kind of a weird. Well, I guess I will say people don't just immediately embrace me as oh, you're going to be my best friend. That does not usually happen.
Yeah.
Did you just laugh or something? No. Okay.
Speaking as the two people that met him and was like, no. You're gonna be my best friend.
But it's
no, it is true. I mean, and it's sometimes you kind of have to push past the surface a little bit, to actually like see who the person is behind that. And so, the whole, I'm in a different, he's out of my league type of thing. That's not to say anybody thought that I was out of their league, but that's just the same mentality, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you factor that, and then like if you layer something over the top of that, like, oh, you're rich and hot. Like, damn. But honestly, again, I just say it really depends on who you are as a person. I mean, we all have these, bias when we look at people where they're how they look and whatnot. And, you know, even like the really hot people, I'm like, well, you probably don't have much of a personality. So, you know, you're something good to look at, but that's not who I want to be with. So if that's the case, again, like I'm not here to waste my time, and I don't want to worry about me not giving you enough attention in any realm.
I know what I used to do actually. And, you know, this is old me back like early 20s. And I was not in my best state of mind, but sometimes I would be so attracted to a guy that I wanted to prove that I wasn't that attracted to him. And so I would just kind of, I don't know, it would just be like, I don't know, I think I would say something and it may be a little bit mean on some level. Like, just because it's like, I feel like I kind of need to
knock him down a
peg.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I do that all the time. Like
currently?
Yeah, currently. No,
Okay.
I will, because, you know, people, when they present themselves, if you're presenting yourself in an arrogant manner to me, I'm going to be like, let me tell you how it is.
Let me set things straight.
Sit your ass down and watch.
But see, it's like you can't.
But I do it with a smile on my face. Like,
Do you
So,
really?
I just want to let everybody know he's the shadiest one out of all of us. He really is. Like, I thought I had the crown
I
in my
want
group.
to say
but
that
he
it's
does.
unintentional, but sometimes, like, I don't know, I do it. But I don't know, even when I say it, it's like, I'll do that, like, maybe when I'm first meeting you, so that you get, like, the hint, like, listen, you're not gonna impress me, like, and I think that really intrigues a lot of people. It actually, if anything, makes them have more interest.
I think it
in
depends
me.
on how you do it, and I think you know you may do it in a way that's not necessarily like
I'm coming for your character, as opposed to like, you know, I don't want to say that you're a bad person, because that's what you value, but like, there's bigger things in the world. Yeah, like,
I even think that, I mean, I feel like we all do it. I feel like when I was single, I don't know. I think I'm approachable, but I will never go up to a guy and talk to him. He was the first person that I came up and talked to him, but I knew for a fact that he liked me. Like, I would have never come up to him and say, "Hey, what's up?" And then
that's a good question, by the way. Do you think you're approachable?
I want to say yes, and I hope I am, because not a lot of people approach me, and I don't approach people, so it's just not a good.
Do you think you're approachable?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay.
I think, like, out of all of us, I would see you being the most approachable.
You think he's the most approachable?
I
would say so too.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Okay.
like I kind of feel like when I first saw you, I really felt like you were just fun and easy, and that's it. And like me, for my part, I'm also not like that. Like, I don't ever talk to other guys. I'm very outgoing and very extrovert and very loud and open and all that, but I am like not just opening up to everyone like that and like get it out there.
I'm the same way. Like, you know, I won't like right out the gate show you my personality, but like when you get to know me and, you know, you start to feel more comfortable around people, like, then I will start with my
I feel like the more we like, it's much better when we're like out, like as a group, and we're kind of talking with each other and we're showing like we can be open, and I think it's a lot easier. We are a lot more approachable when we are showing that we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
maybe.
Maybe. Sometimes we might look like, you know.
I was gonna say, because like sometimes like when we're on the dance floor, it's really intimidating, because like we're really going for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially these two.
Oh my god,
Like-
Kevin and me on the dance floor.
Oh my
you
God.
don't want to be close because you're gonna get the feeling you're gonna be kicked.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when you get a couple drinks in you and then they hit the right song.
But I was even telling Alex that when I was single and when I was new in the city, I will get to my house and I wouldn't even change, because back in the day I had to like be suited up every single day, and I would go to a bar and I would sit down and I would just have a beer, or I would have a drink. I wouldn't talk to anyone. but I will always expect someone to come talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like,
But you went with your suit, right?
but that was, sometimes it wasn't even on purpose. That was sometimes I would just go right after work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying you would go sit at a bar and you would expect people to come and talk to you, but they did not, or
They did.
They did. Okay.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Or like when I was single, if I wanted to hook up with someone, like I would just sit down and I would just wait.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you will eventually come.
Yeah, see, like, I see you as a very approachable person, but I know you. And so, like, trying to put myself on the outside of this situation, I don't know. I mean, maybe I could see you being approachable from a third person perspective. But I was gonna say you're a little bit, you may be a little bit intimidating.
You have a like
You don't
very
think so?
No, I mean,
intimidating. I wouldn't know, but it's like you can see or sense that you're strong within yourself. I could see why you would say intimidating because like you're very confident, and I think you put that out. Like at first glance, I don't think someone would look at you and feel like, oh, that guy might be shy.
yeah.
Like I feel you put out there that
not
you're
shy.
really
Like-
confident.
Yeah, if it was you three guys and I knew nothing about you, I would definitely approach Juan first.
That says a lot about us.
Sorry, Jarrod.
That's fine. No. Yeah. No. I mean, I think like, do you guys think you're intimidating at all? Do you think you're intimidating?
I think on the dance floor, because if you're a person like me who is a dancer and you're on the dance floor and you're actually like doing more than the two-step or the
What is that?
I'm
Tap
I'm,
dance?
I'm trying to do a little, but
Side.
but yeah, I mean, if you're really like going for it, like you're doing turns and voguing to the best of your ability. Yeah, I mean, it's very intimidating because you don't want to, like, you can't just walk up to that person to like start talking to them, and it's not like you can like join in.
But what about like, you're just at like a bar setting, you're not dancing.
See, I make the dance floor wherever I go. So even if it's
that is true.
So even if it's a dive bar, it's going down.
Yeah.
But I think generally, like, even like when like we're just standing at maybe the rooftop over at
Taboo.
Thank you. We're just standing there. I think that we are approachable, but I think that a problem is a lot of people like to stay in their groups that they come with, and they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to just take a chance and walk up to a group and then have everybody give them the look.
Right.
So
right. I feel like I am the one who opens the door to a lot of conversation for y'all.
It is. You are. You are. I'm not going to deny it or fight it. Like, you just have this ability to just walk up to anybody and start talking, and you can make like a small conversation that like becomes something that may or may not be interesting. And for me, that's, I don't know.
Was that a read? It may or may not.
I don't know. I didn't take it as a read. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes it's not like everybody that we talk to. Sometimes,
right.
Like,
sometimes it is like, okay, let's. Well,
you remember?
Yeah.
I was just like done after a certain statement was made, so I just literally walked away because I was
they
like,
definitely did like a
arrogant
like a Regina George
little
thing.
Yeah,
like,
it was like a Regina George
like,
read
what?
on Philadelphia.
So
and I was like,
so what you were wearing?
They said,
let's put it out.
Yeah, they said.
But you were wearing your.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't.
No, it was, but Tariq was.
Okay.
And so they said,
like
wow.
a fanny pack or so, or like a. But he was wearing it across his shoulder.
Yeah. So they said, man, everybody's wearing those bags around here. And I was like, they're like, is that a thing? I'm like, what? Like, first of all, yes, but
right.
Like, why are you like judging some, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. It gave Mean Girl. I personally did not even catch it. Just because I don't know. I think they were just hot, and I was just trying to talk. I just completely.
They were just
completely went past over my head.
They were just all right.
I have to say though, like, I wouldn't jump into a group of like hot guys or like guys just like that. I'm very much like I'm too. I guess in that sense, I would be almost too shy or too afraid of rejection.
Yeah. I remember when you first came over and we went over. Like, I took you over to that table of, like, we just, like, jumped into conversation.
You saw me. I was...
like, what the hell?
Was the little...
It was really funny because then he says...
I'm used to it now, but I was the same exact way. Like, he would be talking...
He doesn't do it to me.
I'm like, oh my God, is this happening?
He runs away. He just walks away.
I do not do that. But it was really funny because he said to me, baby, is it okay if I... And I'm like, you know what? You go. You guys.
Well, you just sent me. You just sent me out of the fire. And I just didn't know what I was going to be doing there. God bless Jarrod took over. And like, I didn't have much to do. So I didn't feel as pressured. But like, I would be very intimidated doing that. Just because I feel I want to be cross the point of like young me feeling insecure, not knowing who I am, trying to compare myself to others, and out of your league almost always leads back to you comparing yourself to someone, which then again we're kind of like starting to shift our mindset. We shouldn't do that. Like, we obviously should try to be our authentic selves, and we have all qualities to give that others don't have, so that is going to set the part, right? Like, we don't necessarily need to compare ourselves to others in order to be someone or to be admired or appreciated or just interesting to someone.
It can be tough though. I mean, if you are not getting any attention when you're going out and maybe even putting yourself out into those situations, it's like that feedback to yourself that like then you start really like, well, what do I not have? And then you do that comparison thing, and then that's when you probably get that thought in your head like, oh, this person is out of my league.
But I always think it's all about confidence too, because I remember like when I was single, me and you will go out and you will tell me like, why don't we just go out and talk to these people, and I would say like, let them come to you, like let them make the first step. Like, there is no reason for a person to always have to make the first step and be also so accessible. To be too accessible is also not, I wouldn't say it's a good thing. So I will always,
is there
like
such thing as too accessible?
I would say
you could have like this like desperation.
If you're too accessible, it depends. If you just want to be friendly, okay, but if you're looking for something else, maybe like if you're going to talk to a hot guy, of course you're not looking for his friendship for the most part. You're looking obviously like to see if there's something else coming out of there. And I'll always tell you like, let them come to you. Like, we don't have to. Well,
somebody's got to be the initiator.
Somebody does.
Exactly.
That's my thing. Like, and I get what you're saying, but I feel like at least what I've learned, I feel like I at least have to open this is my thing.
Trademark.
Open the door. Just open the door. Just a little, hey, how are you? Okay. You're not really feeling it right now, but that's fine. My name's Jarrod. If you see me, say hi, and I'll walk back over to my corner and whatever. And it kind of worked. On one point, there was this like super hot guy that I was talking to who was just like kind of giving me like the please don't talk to me vibes. And that's all I said. I said, okay, well, if you see me, don't be a stranger, say hi. And I walked away, gave him his space back, which is important because but we'll get into that in a minute. But it's like, I want to say like the next week, I kind of caught his eye, and I could tell he was a lot more open, and had we crossed paths, I would have been able to say like, hey, how are you? And just leave it at that. But it's like, you don't know what could happen, I mean, now that's somebody that I can feel comfortable at least saying hello to. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be the love of my life, but you have to test something. You have to try some things. But you can't be desperate, and you can't be like forcing a certain path. You have to read the room.
It all depends on what you're looking for. Like if you go out, and I'll put it on my case, at least like when I was single, and I'll go out and I was just looking for, there were some nights that me and you were just looking for friends, and I'll be very, very open and very like, I would just talk to anything. But if I was looking to hook up, I wouldn't talk to anyone.
But see, I feel like, you can say that because people will talk to you. Now that I think about it, people will kind of go up to you. People will talk to you. People don't like just randomly come up, like not usually. Not more than to say, "Oh, I love your hair."
Well, I mean, I think they're just opening.
Are they opening the door?
Got you right there.
All right, Kevin. Maybe you make a point. But I guess I do have another question for you guys. Like, has anyone kind of put you on a pedestal and made you like have they thought that you were out of their league? Anybody that you've dated before kind of given you the vibes that maybe, oh, this guy is just too good for me? How does that look and how does that feel?
Don't lie, Kevin.
It doesn't.
Don't lie. It feels great.
It does
at first.
It does at first.
At first.
At the very first.
Exactly.
But then after it, you're just like, okay, clearly you can't see me as a person to person, and if you're always gonna look up to me, it's like we can't be together because we're not on the same level.
That is the point.
So you gotta like, sure, you can get starstruck for a little bit, but not that I'm a star by any means, but But
eventually,
Keep
eventually you have
keep
to
yourself grounded.
you have to think that that we're in this together and that we're on the same playing field. Otherwise, it's just
absolutely.
And it's like, if you are in that space, you're also kind of manipulating your own behavior. So you're like being what you think that other person wants you to be, which is not, again, it's not your authentic self. Like, I don't need praise. I'm good. Like I'm happy with myself. I don't need like the positive reinforcement or, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so beautiful and blah, 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 blah. Like, sure, it might feel nice every once in a while, but no, I don't need that on a regular basis.
Not constantly.
Yeah.
Like I my last relationship before Juan was literally that. I didn't feel at like some point we were equaling out in some way. It was just constantly me feeling somewhat superior, or not necessarily because I wanted to feel that way.
Yep.
It was a lot more put on me, like, I am this person that already moved country, that already did all these things by myself, that already like whatever it is, and I never felt that person was able to step up to me and make themselves feel great about themselves. I felt their struggle of trying to be somewhat but not them, and really see them for their qualities.
Have you
I'm sorry, I have a spicy question.
Bring on the spice.
So have you ever though turned somebody down who you thought was below your league?
Well, I would be
I don't
lying
want to
if
say
I would
below
say no.
your league, because that sounds like very
well, I mean, but we know what you mean by that.
Exactly,
So it's
like-
not like you're saying something that's untrue.
But
Right.
I think that we all have done that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you have to let some people down, because again, you don't want to be the nice guy that's like being nice to them, and so they think there's a chance, right? Like, you have to let them know, be very clear, like, no, this is like not a thing. And like, you don't want to be that like arrogant, pretentious person, but sometimes like you do have to like ignore that deep DM or whatever, like just to like maybe have them get the hint, and then if they're persistent, then you have to be very direct with them, which makes you feel like a dick. And it's like, you're not.
But it all comes down to having standards, and you're always gonna find people that.
So what would you say is below your standards?
He's stepping in. This is his second time recording. If you saw him before, he was nervous, and now he is stepping in.
Let me answer the question to
stepping
you.
into the
Let me
light.
answer the question to you. But look, I'll answer the question to you right now. But below my standards, I mean, there's three things that are very important in a relationship, or like that I see in a person: values, direction, and lifestyle. And you have to share those three things with me. So if you are someone who works 5 times a week, which is you're a hardworking person, that's a check for me. But if I see that in your Instagram you're going out every weekend, You're spending all your money on whatever. You don't have anything going on for yourself. That to me will be a turnoff. So it has nothing to do with money. It has to do with your
How you-
objectives.
yep.
So that will be for me a
Yeah.
reason to reject you. Not the money that you make, but what you do with your money that makes me feel like you can contribute it not only to my relationship and my person in general.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. I mean, I am the same exact way. It's like, you know, you want to be with somebody that's going to be able to do the things that you want to do. And so if they're not like valuing that aspect of life, then they would rather go out to the bars and get, you know, run high tabs and whatnot.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not, but that's what, right.
That's not where I am
Exactly.
right now. So like I like to go out, I like to have fun, but I need to be able to be with someone that's centered, that has the same values. Like even something as small as, do you want to have a family? If you tell me tomorrow, or if I would have met him yesterday and he would have said, hey, I don't want to have kids, or I don't want to have a family, I would have been like, okay, you're a good looking guy, I might want to have sex with you, but I'm gonna end up blocking you at some point.
-1, Alex.
You know what I mean? But it's that simple.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Values and lifestyle are two things that you need to always take into consideration
Mhm.
with your standards.
Absolutely.
And for the most part, that was the only way that we were able to proceed.
I just find it interesting how we used going out every weekend as one of the, because technically we go out every weekend.
Listen,
Don't
we
we?
just-
but
we
we
just-
don't spend a lot of money on the weekend.
We also just
Okay.
had a group intervention about that, though.
Right.
And saying like,
Okay.
basically,
and I
did-
don't go out every
okay.
weekend anymore.
Okay. No, but okay, so maybe I didn't get the clarification that I needed from that, because you're saying you don't spend all of your money on just going out. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have goals, and that has not, if you tell me, hey, I don't have money, but yet I see you going out every weekend and we have things to do, we have
Well,
goals,
that's contradictory, of course. Yeah.
that I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, well, I don't care what you do with your free time, but if you're telling me that all your money is going to something or a distraction that is gonna slow us down as a couple, I want to be like, no. And
Mhm.
like I said, it has nothing to do with how much you make. If you tell me tomorrow I can't afford it, like I can't do it, that's different than you telling me, well, I can't afford this, but then I saw you spending $150, $200 last weekend on alcohol and drugs. I'm gonna be like, well, okay, this doesn't work for me.
Mhm.
And that goes back to lifestyle. Like you're allowed to have your free time, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but what do you do with your time
Right.
is what matters to me.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
And
got
your
you.
money.
I got you.
You know.
Okay. Cool.
I feel like also a lot of times we kind of have to like think about what is above or below our league. Like what is the definition of that necessarily? Is it success in your job? Is it the wealth that you come from? Is it the knowledge that you have? I think there are so many parts that we could possibly feel above or below someone's league
sure.
that it just
But I also think physically could be.
Yeah, that was
Like-
my next thing. Is
Yeah.
like getting into the looks aspect. You know, it's like somebody is just not it for you, and again, you're in that same situation where it's like they're shooting their shot, and you're just,
Yeah.
I don't want to say out of their league, but it's like,
But it's not even about out of your league.
Yeah.
It just
It's
means
true.
You're
It's
not
just
attracted to them.
right, you're
That's
not
just-
matched up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah. I mean, because it's a strange, because I mean, like, it just, I guess it all depends on how you look at it, I guess, because you could technically say like, oh, this person is this person looks like Thor, for example, which is he's just like the biggest, bulkiest, hottest guy. I mean, and that's my thing, and that's not everybody's thing apparently. I don't. It's not your thing. I love that. I love the muscle guys. So whatever. But you could have like the hottest muscle guy standing over there and be like, oh well, he's like completely out of my league. I'm not even going to try to like say hello or anything like that. And it's also very relative as well, because I'm sure there are a lot of people watching now who would look at us and be like, all four of y'all are out of our league. Like, what are y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but no. No, I don't like to.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that. I mean, I do value a person's personality, and again, their values,
100%.
what they want out of life, how they see the world. Because if we can see the world in the same way, then like we really don't need much of anything else, because everything you do is going to be driven by that. So,
And also you have to also be mindful that personality always kills looks. Like, it might sound so cheesy, and I can look at you and I can think you're gorgeous, but if it's just that first impression that you might be, overwhelmed by it. But then I always think that personality, knowledge, like when I always tell him that one of the things that made me fall in love with him is that I always have something to learn from him. Like, he just knows I always have something to learn, and that to me is almost like my love language. Like, I want to be able to be with someone that feeds to my soul, to my brain, that challenges me, that doesn't always make me feel that I'm right, even though like I like to sometimes be always right, But personality always kills looks.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
and the way he's giving you the dreamy
So,
eyes,
I
it's
know.
like...
I'm just trying to keep my head straight, because I know the way he's looking at me right now. But it is true though. Personality always kills looks, and you see sometimes these ugly dudes with these beautiful women, and they don't even have to have money, but they have the personality to back it up.
Yeah.
And I think in the end,
Pete Davidson.
that's what matters. Well, duh.
Like,
But he's fun.
Although I was gonna say, I actually think he's pretty cute. So
Really?
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh my
He
god.
has his
I don't
moments.
even
in like
think
a
he's that
goofy
bad.
kind of
His
way.
moments.
Yeah.
But you know why?
Yeah, I know
He's got
why.
a big dick. You know that. That's why don't lie to us.
Oh
You
my
might want
God.
to have.
But I have to say, for my part, like, I tend to usually, like, I tended to go for guys that are nerdier in some way,
Me
that
too.
were not necessarily like obviously super handsome or super pretty or would like strike anyone's eye immediately, because I knew that I would maybe be a lot more surprised of what I would find.
Yeah. Same.
And I am like,
Personality wise, you're saying.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of times I feel like people look at me sometimes and they feel a certain way about myself, either about the style that I'm like wearing that day, or like the way that I dress, because sometimes I wear like mesh only and chains and all that Berlin style sort of street look, and then other times I just look like a skate guy. Like, but in general, I feel sometimes people get something on their mind of what I would be like, and it is really not me necessarily, because I am feeling myself more like a goofball. I feel like a weirdo. I feel I like things that other people don't like. And I'm just a little nerd myself. Like,
I love nerds. I love nerdy guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I like someone that teaches me
I share
some.
such a similar experience. Like, it is the same exact way for me. Like, people think that, I'm a type of way. Like, they might, I don't know, they think I'm like stoic and very like masked and all this kind of stuff. But like,
I try not to.
get to know me just a
See,
little
I'm sorry.
bit.
This
we try a lot
I
here. We
shouldn't
just
even
know
talk.
each other
It's
too
fine.
well.
My history on this.
But no, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I am. I'm goofy. I'm way goofier than most people think I would be. And I'm not serious. I generally am into things that people don't think that I would be into. And I that's why I never want to say somebody who like thinks that maybe I am looks wise above their league, because I'm like, honestly, those like nerdier guys and that like nerdy aesthetic or whatever, like most of the time I can have a really good conversation with you.
Yeah.
And that's where it's gonna start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Do you think like you go after nerdy guys because they don't necessarily know that they are as hot as they are? Is that
I mean,
kind
there's some hot nerds.
I mean, what'd you say? Well, yeah, there are some hot nerds, but like,
Jarrod. It's like,
no. I'm saying, Bring it back. Bring it back. Because I had a point to what I was saying. I was saying, like, instead of approaching somebody who obviously know, or who you think obviously knows that they are, you know, the shit. You go to a nerdy guy because they don't know that they're out of your league. But you still think you're out of your league, but they don't know it, so they're a little bit more accessible, is what I'm saying.
Do you
get what I'm saying?
I do. I do think that they are generally more approachable.
Yeah,
but
it's like it's a safer option.
But in the
almost,
best way.
But in the best way. Because you know you'll get something out of it. It's not like you're approaching someone just for the luck of actually finding the hot guy that is also giving you a little more than that. Your success rate is going to be a lot higher because not only is it going to be easier for you to start something because that person in front of you is not as cocky whatsoever because they look great.
And for the record, we don't mean to hot shame so much. I mean, I think that needs to be said.
I don't think it's as deep as it could be. I just think that it's just you just connect with certain people better, and like what we just
it's weird. I tend to not. I don't know. Like conversation wise, I feel like I can converse with nerdy guys, but I mean, because I'm technically a nerdy guy too. Like based on my interests, I do like a lot of nerdy things, but I don't know if I could be in a relationship with somebody else that was like deep into, like, some people are like deep into like anime and video games and I love that stuff, but like, can we go to brunch too? You know what I'm saying?
No, I do. And
can we go on a wine tasting?
I mean, no, that's fair. You know, like anime, I can watch anime. I don't opt for anime, but I can watch it and I can appreciate it for what it is, and you know, I could be there for you if you want to go to some anime event. But I get what you're saying, that there's just too much to delve
too deep into it.
Yeah, so
for, like, part of, like, I don't know, I feel like if you, it's weird, like, you know, I mean, I guess if I really loved the guy, I would just like deal with it.
Well, that's, I mean, again, that's going to be back to like your values and your perspective. So if you're really valuing that as such a significant part of your life that it kind of impedes on your ability to have relationships with people who don't have those same interests, then you're going to have to then find somebody else who's going to be satisfying.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any other questions, but maybe we can give like a quick pointer to somebody out there who may be thinking that, you know, so and so is out of my league. Like, what would you say to them if they want to approach somebody who they think is out of their league? Like, is that first of all, is that like all in their head, or is that like an actual thing? What should they do about it?
I almost feel like whenever you would feel that way, first of all, like, go deep within yourself, understand that you have qualities, that you are someone, that you bring something to the table because you have very individual experiences that you have had that no one else has had. And just don't compare yourself. You can never live up to every single standard that other people do. So you just do you and don't try, and maybe that's even gonna help you to find someone else who's complimenting you much rather than being on the same level that you are.
I would say, like, you know, if you're approaching somebody who you think is out of your league, especially like socioeconomically, just think to yourself that there is always potential that somebody has those same interests that you do. They just have money. And so they are, you know, maybe free to spend and, you know, get into some high fashion or whatnot, but you just really never know. So don't let that deter you. And same goes for looks. Whereas you might think that, oh, this hot guy might only like hot guys, but in essence, like, you don't know, you could be somebody's style. I have a pretty particular style, and it is not is not the stereotypical image of a hot guy. So, you know, don't be afraid to at least give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything, Juan?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, I will personally say don't ever think that you're below anybody else.
Yeah.
Don't ever feel that you're somebody that cannot reach a certain person just because of where you come from or who you love or where you are in life. I think that you just have to work on yourself interiorly, and once that happens, you're going to start attracting the same thing. And yeah, I mean, if you ever feel that way, then maybe something that's in you and not the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to work maybe on the interior and not the exterior.
That's a good point. And really to kind of jump off on that, first of all, I would say if you see somebody that you think is out of your league, kind of give it a shot, but give them some space, you know, be able to open that door and just step back. It's almost just like, you know, you just throw something out there, you see what happens. If they bite, then okay. If not, step back, don't force it, you know, just let it be easy. Let it be a regular conversation. And if they're really just kind of giving you the stiff arm, then leave it friendly and light and move on. And maybe they can come back around at some other point, or maybe not, and it's fine. But my other question is to the viewer is, are you ignoring the people that you would think are in your own league? And if you're doing that, then what about your level is wrong? You know, because then that's where what you said, Juan, where it's just like there may be something with you that you may have to kind of learn to love about yourself a little bit more, that you know, you start kind of accepting the people that you think are on your level. I personally don't think that somebody is out of your league. I mean, there's like the practical side of it that's like, yeah, I mean, I guess some people would technically kind of ignore you based on certain things, but that's not everybody. And you kind of have to give people a shot, and you have to know that you are worth that shot as well. So that would be my whole thing. I mean, I think I kind of was a little bit long-winded with that one, but I don't know. Maybe we'll cut it out. I don't know. We'll see.
Seemed cute. Might delete later.
Right. Exactly. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank my special guests. Thank you, Kevin, Juan, and Alex, for joining me on these last couple of episodes. It's been fantastic, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. And please just give us a subscribe, give us a like, comment on this episode, let us know what you thought, and we will catch you next time. So if you have no one else,
you got us.